productivity, winning strategies, and aligning employer-employee goals. If this sounds like something your business could use more of, then you've come to the right place. The Business Mechanic Show with your host, Vaughn Sigmund. Let Vaughn show you how to develop, improve, and jumpstart your business. So now, please welcome the host of the Business Mechanic, Vaughn Sigmund.
Welcome to the Business Mechanic Show, where we dissect common leadership challenges, provide you with the tools to fix them. I'm your host, Vaughn Sigmund, and today we're diving into a topic that many employers find daunting: firing an employee. I read an article earlier this week it was actually a video from TikTok, where I witnessed a garbage fire of a termination that an employee was being let go from a company. And almost everything you could do wrong in this termination, they did wrong. So that prompted me to say, you know what? I'm going to do a video on this, and let's see if I can help my audience do a better job. So in the show today, I'm going to share the most common mistakes I see employers and managers make. And later, I'm going to give you my top 5 solutions for being able to fire an employee with no blowback. These are the tactics I've used for decades now. I've had thousands and thousands, no exaggerations, of employees, never been sued except for one time, and they lost that. We won it. I know how to cover myself. I'm going to share with you how you cover yourself. But first, this is not legal advice. One of my tips includes following all state and federal HR laws, and there's plenty of labor attorneys out there to help you. If you feel even a little bit uncomfortable, please find you some legal resources. Into the meat of things. Firing an employee is never easy, and it's often a decision that employers wrestle with. But one of the biggest mistakes employers make, single biggest mistake, procrastinating. Avoiding the issue, whatever the issue is, can and does lead to decreased team morale. It's a virus that affects everybody when somebody's underperforming or has a bad attitude or is causing some kind of dysfunction. Avoiding the issue can lead to decreased team morale. It's like a virus that spreads throughout the organization, creating frustration among other employees, which lowers their level of engagement, productivity, and it can even create some legal complications for you. So instead of delaying the inevitable, it's not going to fix itself. It's crucial to address performance or behavior issues head on. Always using open and honest communication. That's the key. Takes some courage, but it's something that's really important. Another common mistake, lack of documentation. It's close to number 1. We're procrastinating and we're not documenting things. Failing to keep detailed records of employees' performance issues can and is very detrimental. It also feeds the procrastination because you don't feel like you're prepared. Without documentation, believe me, it's challenging to prove that the termination was justified. And in a very litigious world, especially in the state of California where I live, this can lead to legal complications. Ignoring company policies is another pitfall. It's essential to adhere to your organization's guidelines consistently. If you don't have guidelines, if you don't have a procedure, you need to go get one. Go to SHRM, SHRM.com. They're the biggest resource on the planet. It's the Society for Human Resources Management. They've got all kinds of tools that you can grab. Google it, find it. If you can't find it, reach out to me. I'll send you one of mine. Have a procedure, train your team on it. Make sure you follow it relentlessly. Not considering alternative solutions is a mistake as well. Sometimes termination should be the last resort. Employers often make the mistake of not exploring alternative solutions, such as finding another seat on the bus for them, reassignment, additional training. Maybe it's your fault. Maybe this person hasn't been properly trained. Or part of documentation can be performance improvement plans. Often and I've done many podcasts on this, managers believe that telling someone what they need to be doing is training. It's not. Training involves kinesthetic knowledge. They have to go do it. Please go back, listen to my podcast on performance management and collaboration and difficult conversations. Getting the employee to tell you what they're going to go work on, improve is the key to this. Get that documented in the PIP that's included in the download you're going to get. Look at the link. Finally, neglecting the emotional impact. Very common error. Very often, you're fed up with this person. You're frustrated, you're fed up, you just want to get it done, you're mad. Check yourself. Firing an employee is emotionally challenged, yes, for you, but for the employee as well. They're about to lose their jobs and they're a human, just like you. And avoiding this concept or the mindset around the emotional impact that you're going to have on them. They've got a family. They've got people that are likely supporting. They've got rent to pay. Just keep that in mind. Make sure you're kind and fair and that you can put your head on the pillow at the end of the day, knowing that you did everything you could to help this employee be successful. Maybe you just hired the wrong person. So now let's talk a little bit based on what I just shared with you with what employers should do instead when it comes to firing an employee. First and foremost, always ensure that you followed a fair and consistent process. Document performance. Don't delay performance conversations. Provide them feedback. Offer them opportunities for improvement that are realistic. And when you see something, say something. Yes, there are times to overlook things, but use your very best judgment. For example, if they happen to be late 2 times in a week in the first week, you need to jump on that. You need to address it. If they're late once every 6 months, keep that to yourself. There's an art to overlooking. Remember, performance issues will not fix themselves. Don't allow the whole perception issue of nobody saying anything, I must be doing well. They need to get regular feedback, both positive, I talk about that a lot, but developmental as well. If they're not doing something at the standards of which you expect, you need to tell them about it. Second, always ask yourself, have I done everything I could do? And that includes offering support or additional training, coaching, a mentor to help the employee succeed. You do not benefit in firing an employee. You only benefit if this employee is successful. Think about that. Find ways to make this person successful. Have you done everything in your power that you could do? Followed all the right techniques with all the proper materials to help them succeed. I need to also make sure that you consult with HR or legal experts to ensure you're following all relevant laws and regulations. And last of all, treat the employee with respect and dignity throughout the process. Don't let them push your buttons. Don't let them get you upset. Remember, yeah, it's a difficult time for you. This is not something you do every day. It is emotionally draining for you. You're likely not to sleep the night before, be very nervous going into this. You could be raw, but it's going to be a rocking their world too. Keep that in mind. Now, let's get to the heart of today's episode. The 5 essential steps to fire an employee without blowback. And for you fine listeners of the Business Mechanics Show, I put a link into the show notes for my workbook, How to Fire an Employee with No Blowback, 100% free, along with all the tools you need to make yourself confident, competent, and legal on terminating an employee. Please download the docs, use them to gain your confidence and your mastery of this. Hope you never have to do it your entire career, but you're going to have to. So use those tools, read up on it. I think you'll find it very helpful. Free to you. Now, step 1, preparation. Preparation is the foundation of a successful termination. Begin by gathering all the necessary documentation, everything related to this employee's performance or their behavior issues. It should include performance reviews. You are doing those, right? Any warnings, any corrective actions, any relevant company policies or procedures that they're violating or not following. It's essential to have a solid paper trail to justify the termination in the event you ever have to sit down in front of a referee. Protect yourself. Protect yourself against any potential legal challenges. And many attorneys will tell you your documentation doesn't have to be super formal. Hell, it can be on the back of a bar nap, but have the issues documented with dates, times, witnesses, specifics. It can even be text. It can be emails. Just have it written somewhere where you can go refer to it and then put together this paper trail. However, you're going to be a master at this. It includes using the proper docs. And that's all in the workbook you're going to download. And again, please consult your HR department if you have one. Many payroll companies have an HR arm. Consult with them. There's always legal attorneys or labor attorneys out there to talk to. Understand there's 50 states. They all have different labor laws. Different jurisdictions have varying rules regarding termination, and it's crucial to be in compliance. I don't want to scare you away from making the right decision. Don't want to make you procrastinate, but go make sure you're on solid ground. Step 2, the timing and the setting. Choosing the right time and the right setting for the termination. It's critical. Ensure privacy. Create a calm, professional environment. Conduct the meeting in a private office or a conference room. You want to protect the employee's dignity, minimize any potential embarrassment they might have. Avoid scheduling the meeting during busy times or even at the end of the day to prevent additional stress for this employee and yourself. Choose a time when both you and the employee can focus entirely on the conversation without interruptions. And bonus tip, have one other person with you as a witness, either your HR director or another manager, just in case. That other set of ears and eyes in there. Step 3, deliver the message with empathy, but with clarity and finality. When delivering this termination message, it's vital to emphasize that the decision is final and not open to debate. The biggest mistake I see managers get into is they allow themselves to engage in an argument. Many of these people, listen, they're going to strike back. You're taking their livelihood away from them. They're going to strike out. If you haven't given them all the proper warnings, they're more likely to strike out. If you have not documented and given them regular chances to improve, they're going to strike out. If this is a surprise, they're going to go for your throat. So that's where the documentation not only keeps you legally in check, but it keeps this conversation calm and smooth. And in most times I've ever done it, they've shaken my hand or even given me a hug and thanked me for all the opportunities and chances I've given them. It was a super nice conversation. That's why I'm sharing my own approaches to this, because I know it works. I only had one time that somebody blew up on me, and it's because I didn't do my job properly. I had procrastinated. I had not documented. I'd overlooked too much. And then I'd had too much. My boss told me I had to make the decision and get it done. I got it done, and boy, they were madder than a hornet. There's a lot about that preparation, a lot about the documentation, but also clarity and finality. You want to make sure they understand that this is not going to be an argument. It's not going to be a discussion. You need to be empathetic, acknowledging the employee's feelings, but avoid at all costs getting drawn into an argument or debate about the decision. You need to redirect that conversation back onto the topic. You can express your understanding of their emotions and any potential disappointment they may feel, because they will, but firmly and assertively, without being aggressive, reiterate that the decision has been made after careful consideration and it's not subject to change. You just do not want to get into a back and forth discussion, because that often becomes an argument. I'm just going to role play real quick how this conversation should sound, give you a feel for this. And by the way, I've role played this same discussion hundreds of times with my clients, with my own managers that work for me. When you get this part down, you've done the first three things that I've talked to you about really well, this is going to go smooth. But here's how it sounds. Joe, as you know, we've had multiple discussions on the issue of fill in the blank. And unfortunately, you've not achieved the needed improvements. And we've come to the decision that we're going to be letting you go. It's obvious that we're not a good fit for you. I want you to have better opportunities somewhere that you will be at a better match for the position. Now, Joe, I want you to also know this is a final decision, and nothing you can say will change your mind regarding this decision. Today's going to be your last day. We have your final check paying you for the rest of the day and the severance we've prepared for you. We also have some items we're going to need to collect from you, and then we're going to ask you to go home. So thanks for all your effort. And I'm truly disappointed that this did not work out for us or for you. You're a fine person, but this was just not the right situation for you, and wish you all the best. This meeting literally should be done in 5 minutes. And that's the conversation. Now, by maintaining a calm, empathetic, composed demeanor, focus on clarity and finality, you're going to ensure that the termination conversation remains professional and respectful. Or to get respected, we have to show respect. And this is all about protecting the dignity of the departing employee and minimizing any negative repercussions down the road. Now, as you heard in that conversation, we're going to need to be collecting some things from you. You've got some logistical details that you need to follow through with. Again, the show notes, how to fire employee with no blowback, has got the entire termination checklist to help you remember to gather all these things and some steps afterwards so that you don't skip any. I've again, I see this mad dash, people slapping their heads. Oh, I forgot to get that from them. We're having to drive to employees' houses or having to wait for the laptop to come in through the mail. Is it going to come? It adds this layer of anxiety, extra work for the employee. They don't want to have anything to do with you after this. Now you're asking them to do something else because you forgot. Have a checklist, follow my checklist. It's pretty comprehensive. And after you deliver the termination message, go through your checklist. Discuss matters such as the employee's final paycheck. Make sure you got that. Any outstanding benefits, certainly return of company property like keys, access cards, any kind of equipment, phones, computers, etc. Provide a clear timeline for these processes to make sure it's a smooth transition. If your company offers outplacement services or assistance with job services, let them know about that. Certainly COBRA, if they're on benefits, be prepared to present them and let them know they're going to be getting the opportunity to utilize COBRA for their benefits. And they're going to get all the details for how to use that. They've got a million things going through their head right now. You just hit them with a truck. Be sure you're prepared. Offer them support, offer them compassion, and be a pro on this. Make sure you're navigating their next steps effectively and covering yourself. And then last, fifth, provide support. The final step in the termination process is letting them know that you'll support them. And even though they're leaving the organization, it's crucial to assist them in this transition. Make sure you've got all the proper information about their rights regarding references and unemployment benefits. If you're giving them a severance, make sure you've got that clearly discussed with them. Now you can allow for any questions. We're not going to argue the fact that you're gone, but I can answer COBRA questions, severance questions, unemployment questions. Always reiterate your appreciation for their contributions and wish them well in a genuine way. When you treat this departing employee with respect and dignity, that helps maintain a positive company image. It will ease some of the emotional burden and maybe even prevent you from getting some bad online reviews. They were treated fairly. And in addition to these 5 steps, it's vital to follow up after the termination. Double check. I know you've got your checklist, but you're the manager. You need to double check. Ensure the employee's access to company systems and facilities is revoked. Make sure you inform the remaining team members about the departure quickly, but do it in a professional and sensitive manner. You don't tell them they got fired. You tell them they have left to find a better opportunity, and you don't gossip. Don't ever gossip. Don't whisper somebody, yeah, I'll can their ass. Don't do that. That's unprofessional. And you don't know who they're friends with. And you being a jerk or being derogatory about this person could have collateral damage. So be careful. Be pro. Tell the rest of the team right away. Let everybody know that Joe's left to seek better opportunities. And just understand it's your role to maintain morale and minimizing disruption. The later you wait to have this conversation, the more the stories start and the gossiping starts. Kill it quick, let everybody know, move on. And certainly, if anybody has any questions about Joe's departure, if it's not about Joe's performance, it's not about their personal performance, if it doesn't invade their privacy, it's some kind of functional question like who's going to cover their shift or who's going to do their job now? Who's covering Joe's job now? What are we going to do? Talk about those questions. Get those out. You don't want them trying to figure it out later on. You need to have been prepared for that. And ultimately, successfully terminating an employee requires a delicate balance, professionalism, empathy, and adherence to state, local, and company policies and legal requirements. And by following these 5 essential steps and providing support, you can navigate this whole situation with integrity and pride that you did the right thing. Well, that's a wrap on another episode of the Business Mechanic Show. If today's content resonates with you, then you're going to love what we have to offer. For those of you who are ready to take your business or personal career to the next level, we have an array of training and coaching services tailored just for you. From performance coaching designed to enhance your potential, to executive coaching that guides leaders to steer their ships towards greater success. Are you in sales management or looking to fortify your leadership acumen? Dive into our sales management training and coaching. Not only will it sharpen your strategies, but it will also provide you an ROI that's undeniable. Remember, the best investment you can make is in yourself and your team. For those seeking flexible learning options, we're excited to share our online and in-person management leadership classes. These aren't just your typical courses. They are meticulously crafted, ensuring that they align with your unique needs and aspirations. And the best part, prices start at just $47 per month, making top-tier coaching and training accessible for everyone. Your growth, both personally and professionally, can have a ripple effect, the one I call the transformational triangle of change. The skills you learn, the perspectives you gain, and the efficiencies you create can translate into increased revenues, more cohesive teams, and an enriched company culture. So why wait? The potential ROI on this investment isn't just in dollars, it's in the progressive future you're carving out for yourself and your organization. Thanks once again for tuning in, and remember, every business needs a tune-up every now and then. Let the Business Mechanic Show be your guide. Check out our website, rdltraining.com, to discover more details on our programs and coaches. We have a link in the show notes to guide you there. Until next time, we're out of here.